Yes, welcome, my people. Recently, renowned writer Chimamanda Adichie lost her son, and the investigation panel of Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria came into the matter. But I was so shocked how suddenly, just few months, the doctors were suspended. The question I asked myself was, why should they be suspended? I know MDCN takes a very long time to come out in a matter like this. What has happened? Was there international pressure, that made them within few months, then it landed to suspension of doctors? The question there is, what is good for the geese? Is it no longer good for the gander? How is it that suddenly, within few months, the same MDCN that matters, lie on their table for years before they will give final verdict? So this is why we have to visit, because this is a constitutional matter. We have to visit the constitution first. Somebody will say, like now, I will say that we look at the bias of the people involved. Was there any international pressure? Was there any pressure from anywhere? And the panel was so, anxious to come out with something to show the international community that something is being done, knowing very well that the person affected is a renowned, author of international repute. First, we go to section 1, subsection 3 of the Nigerian Constitution as amended. It is clear. It says that if any other law is inconsistent with the provisions of the Nigerian Constitution, first, the Nigerian Constitution shall prevail, and that other law shall, to the extent of the inconsistency, be void. What that means is that the Nigerian Constitution is supreme. And for the supremacy of the Nigerian Constitution, it means if any other law, including the laws made by the National Assembly, like the law guiding the medical and dental practice in Nigeria, which is called Medical and Dental Practitioners Act, MDPA. I am aware that section 15 of the MDPA, that's Medical and Dental Practitioners Act, statutorily created the MDCN investigation panel and the MDCN disciplinary, tribunal. But the question there is, do these regulatory agencies have rights to punish alleged offenders? Because I'm aware that section 6 of the Nigerian Constitution as amended clearly states that the judiciary powers of the Federation is vested in the courts. So I think it's only the courts that has the power, more or less, to punish alleged offenders. There are similar cases. There was one where a lawyer's car was impounded by FRSC, Federal Road Safety Commission. The lawyer went to court for certain reason, because they do not have the right. Yes, in the act establishing FRSC, it empowers them to confiscate, to do this, punish, and all those things. But the lawyer went there to test the substance of the law, because the same FRSC cannot be the one that will impound the car, investigate, charge the person, prosecute, give punishment, no matter the name, whether you call it investigation panel, disciplinary panel. So it is a constitutional matter. We have to look at it, because the rate at which they came out to the suspension of those doctors is really funny, or do I say suspicious? Because I know that the Johns Hopkins University teaching hospital that they were talking about, that place is not a safe haven. People equally died there. The Johns Hopkins University is not without any malpractice case against them. We know the popular Dr. Nikita Levy case, where the hospital, was built about $190 million, because of, the case in their obstetrics and gynecology unit, Then also, the children's department, or the children's part of their hospital, there's a popular case there called Take Care of Maya case, where the hospital was found liable for medical, negligence, forced imprisonment, and intentional infliction of, distress, on the patient. And the hospital was also fined $200 million. We're also aware in the same Johns Hopkins, hospital, that the case of what's it called again? There's another case, where delay in cesarean section in the same Johns Hopkins, hospital caused a birth injury, which the hospital was also found liable, and the hospital was fined, about $55 million. So that's the point. So let it not be as if doctors in Nigeria or doctors in Africa don't know what they are doing. There are cases, some cases are bad. What I always ask myself is, why must they need a central line? Why must they need a central line before flying from Nigeria to the so-called Johns Hopkins, University? I think I will end the video here till the next section. Let me have your comment on the comment section. Thank you.